What's up, hockey fans? It is your weekly dose of NHL talk here on the Huddle Up podcast theme. Did I just say theme? I meant thread. It is currently Wednesday night, December 21st, as I'm recording this. It's Mikey B. I am here to talk all things hockey on this week's Five for Fighting. If you're not already following along with us on any of our major social media platforms, Twitter, Facebook. We have a YouTube where you can watch the Tuesday live show, which is obviously Big Jim, the CEO, co-founder, and leader and capitan of Huddle Up Incorporated. You can follow that show on any of the major social medias, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook. We also have a TikTok. You can watch clips from the Tuesday show. Most of them are student of the game Kyle Nash dunking all over Ernest E.J. Christian, which I am always for. So that's always a plus. If you're following along with us on any of the social medias, hit that link tree. In the link tree, you can find links to the YouTube as well as the podcast feed on Apple, Amazon, Spotify. The link straight to the TikTok and Facebook as well as Instagram feeds, or sorry, not Instagram, Twitter links to all the hosts and the show, as well as our merch link over at tpublic.com. You hit that link. There are currently 43 designs sitting on the TeePublic store, including the Huddle Up logo with our numbers on the back. So if you would like to join Team Bernier, that's an option. You can hit that one. Number 17, hit it up. We also have two NHL designs currently. Hopefully, we'll have some more coming up here in the not so distant future. As soon as I can get past the first of the year and sit down with like I said, the CEO, co-founder, and El Capitan of Huddle Up Incorporated, Mr. Big Jim. But that's it for the plugs for right now. We'll get back to that in a little bit. Let's talk about the five topics today. We'll obviously have the Grip and a Rip Player of the Week. And then because we've reached a point in the season where I think it's finally time to address it, we're going to do a top five, bottom five power rankings so far through the regular season. But let's start with topic number one, and we're going to start with a sad one. Toronto Maple Leafs defenseman Victor Medi's grandfather has tragically passed away in a very unfortunate incident in Canada. I'm going to try to bring up the exact link. I saw it earlier tonight. I was scrolling through some stuff and was trying to find some things to talk about on this show because with it being the Christmas holiday, work's kind of been kicking my ass. I haven't been able to sit around and watch as much hockey as I normally like to do because I've been putting in 10 and a half, 11-hour days with Amazon. So went over to NHL.com and I saw the headline and I was like, okay, this doesn't normally seem like something that we'd see released. But then I started reading the article. He was killed in a mass shooting on Sunday in a Toronto suburbs. York Regional Police on Tuesday released the names of those killed in the Vaughan, Ontario shooting, including Vittoro Panza, Meta's 79-year-old grandfather. It was then said by the Maple Leafs in a statement, quote, "The Maple Leafs are shocked and saddened by the tragic passing and shooting that took place this past Sunday in Vaughan. Our hearts go out to Victor, his family, to all the families and friends and those affected at the local communities." Sheldon Keefe and Austin Matthews expressed their sympathies after a 4-1 win at Scotia on Tuesday, saying they haven't seen him, just learned about the situation. Keefe said, "Obviously our thoughts are with him and his family." Matthews said, quote, "It hits a little close to home now, obviously, because we know Victor, but it's such a tragic thing, and we've thinking about everybody, all the families impacted in this incredible tragedy. We're thinking of Victor and his family right now." Obviously, the Maple Leafs held a moment of silence prior to the game against Tampa Bay. Also, it was said, "I'm not sure what else to say other than our hearts go out to Victor and everyone else involved in the situation." For Matthews, Medi, a native of Woodbridge, Ontario, just west of Vaughan, signed a 1 year contract with the Maple Leafs back in July. The 24-year-old had 2 assists in 11 games this season. Has not played since December 6th when he sustained a lower body injury against the Dallas Stars and was placed on injured reserve. Um, he's playing in his seventh season, first four with Montreal, the previous two with Ottawa before coming across to play for Toronto. Uh, from the Montreal Canadiens, our hearts go out to Victor, his family, and the loss of his grandfather, as well as the loved ones of all the victims of the tragedy that took place in Vaughan. The hockey world is with you and ready to support you during your difficult time. It's been released that four other were killed in the high-rise condominium building in Vaughan, located just north of Toronto, where Rita Camarilli, 57, Russell Manick, 75, Helen Manick, 71, and Navid Dada, 59. A sixth victim remains in the hospital with serious injuries. A police officer was shot and killed the gunman at the scene. So, very unfortunate thing to start the show off with, but I thought it was important to discuss. Obviously, from everybody at the Huddle Up podcast, at the Five for Fighting podcast. Our thoughts and prayers go out to Victor, his family, all those involved in the very unnecessary tragedy in Vaughan on Sunday, as well as the Toronto Maple Leaf organization. Very scary situation, very real situation. Unfortunately, that's been going on a lot. It seems and I know a lot here in America, but just a lot around the world where things that seem very avoidable are happening on a daily, hourly, minutely basis. So obviously, very sad story coming out of Canada. Very rough way to start the show. But unfortunately, I thought we had to touch on it here. I thought we had to discuss it because it is a major thing. So obviously, like we said, our thoughts and prayers go out to Victor, his family, the family of the other victims, and as well as healing powers, hopefully, to that sixth victim who's currently in the hospital with serious injuries, hoping that they can pull through. So that's not another name that gets added to this unfortunate list from what happened this past weekend in Vaughan. Our second um, topic for this week's episode, another sad one. Dallas Stars Dennis Garanimov is taking an indefinite leave of absence to deal with a family issue. The 25-year-old had 20 goals in the pandemic-affected season. He's had 25 goals the last two seasons combined. When asked if there was any reason that they could give on why he was taking leave of absence, the Dallas Stars organization wouldn't go into any more details. Kudos to them, because a lot of people will push and push and try to figure out why someone is taking a leave. You know, it was released 12 hours ago. Dallas Stars via the Twitter page put out. Dallas Stars general manager Jim Neal announced today that Dennis has been granted an indefinite leave of absence from the team due to family reasons. The team will have no further comment at this time. Um, I think that it's interesting that he's deciding to take the leave. Um, I mean, I hope it's nothing too major. I hope it's something that can be fixed for his sake in a timely manner, so he can get back out on the ice. I think this is one of those scary situations where you never want to think you know what's going on. So I just think that obviously hope everything works out for Dennis and his family in this situation, because none of us really know what's going on. Obviously, the trolls are out on Twitter. If you search his name, trying to figure out reasoning, and then it's, oh, is he gonna work against our salary cap, or can we go sign someone? Um, yeah, if you're one of those people, like, I hope you get kicked in the shin. Like, truthfully, I really do, because like, you don't have any idea what this guy's going through off ice. You have no idea what he's going through at home. You know, divorce. I mean, it could be anything. Divorce, loved one dying. Anything of those could honestly be a thing that's going on, and you're sitting here worried about cap space and can we cut someone? You know, Dennis, let me be the first one. Here on this show, we're with you. We hope that whatever it is, you know, you're able to take care of it as soon as you can to get back out on the ice. And if it's something that you can't take care of real quick, just know you got a whole slew of fans in the National Hockey League that are here to support you. Take your time. The game will be here whenever you're ready. Hopefully, like I said, this is something that he can work through quickly for his own sake. Our third topic for tonight's show: the second season of the Cam Atkinson era in Philadelphia is over before it started. The Flyers announced earlier this week that Atkinson will have season-ending neck surgery. In his first season as a member of the Flyers, Atkinson had 23 goals and 50 total points. Not surprised that that the season is now over. Especially whenever he hasn't played in the game all season, and it was one of those things where it just seemed they were very kind of quiet about Cam and the recovery and all of that, early on. So yeah, it's just one of those things where it was very weird. President of Hockey Operations Chuck Fletcher said, obviously he'll be out the rest of the year. Expecting to make a full recovery. Club will have more information following the surgery. I don't have a date on the surgery yet, so keep an eye out to any of the social medias. But Atkinson was just a guy that they didn't really say much about. It was just always hurt. We have no idea we have no idea how long he's going to miss. We have no idea this. We have no idea that he's hurt. So I didn't have much of a thought of him playing much this season as it was, prior to them officially ruling him out with the injury. So, with that being said, he sustained the injury September 25th. Um, you know, he had been considered week to week. So it's just one of those things where, they never really discussed what was going to happen. They just kind of kept saying, oh, well, it's an upper body injury. He'll be out for a couple more weeks. And then, you know, they finally made the decision earlier this week to announce it. John Tortorella said this, quote, he was doing everything possible he could without getting opened up, especially in that area. Cam wanted to play. He's a great competitor. Tried all different things with head athletic trainer Tommy Alva, the whole group, and couldn't sustain it. Couldn't sustain it to get over the hump. He'd feel really good, and then it would drop off. This is what's been discussed with professionals. They feel it's the best route. Cam has obliged them, and he'll get it done. Atkinson said December 3rd that he had been cleared for contact. He felt he was close to making his season debut, and even traveled with the Flyers on their recent 4-game road trip that concluded with a 2-1 win Thursday against the Devils. It felt pretty good, Atkinson said at the time. A little bit of an adjustment, but just working out the kinks. I'm getting close, but not enough to where I can help the team right now. But I'm closer than not. Obviously, that is not the case, as they shut it down, and they'll have the surgery in the near future. So keep an eye on that information. Once we have more information on the surgery and the success of it, we'll discuss that more here, and what the future holds for Cam Atkinson in Philadelphia. Good story. Good story, but a bad story here. Alex Pietrangelo returns after a 9-game absence due to a daughter's illness. I say good news because she's obviously gotten past the illness, but bad news that she had the illness to begin with. Golden Knights defenseman Alex Pietrangelo returned to practice Saturday. He's playing right now in their game. I'm currently watching the Vegas game on Wednesday night at 11:50 Um, 9-game absence he took when his 4-year-old daughter became severely ill. Petrangelo said he felt comfortable that his daughter Evelyn was progressing well enough that he could return Saturday night's home game against the Islanders. He said Evelyn came down with the flu over Thanksgiving and then developed encephalitis, which creates a lesion on the brain that caused her to lose her motor skills, including not being able to open her eyes for the first 5 days. Petrangelo said, quote, they tried a course of treatment that a week later eliminated the brain lesion. He said, don't want to say a surprise, but that progressed a lot quicker than the original diagnosis. They couldn't really give you a timetable on when your precious girl is going to get better. It's pretty scary for mom and dad, so I said I wouldn't go back to work until I felt comfortable with where she was at home. Petrangelo's daughter returned home Wednesday from Las Vegas Hospital. The next morning, she wanted to walk. Quote, we were thinking this could be months down the road, Petrangelo said on Friday. She just kept walking in circles for a full day. God answered our prayers. It's a miracle how she's come along so fast in the last 48 hours. But he did say that she's going to face months of rehabilitation. His return to Vegas comes to the club, who is dealing with a series of injuries on the blue line. Petrangelo is second to Shane Theodore, who is out with a lower body injury, along with Vegas defenseman uh, 20. Oh, excuse me, who's out with a lower body injury among Vegas defensemen with 21 points. Theodore has 22 points. Quote, it was good for Alex to get back into the group and in the mix, said Bruce Cassidy. You have to take care of your family first. They're in a better place than they were a few weeks ago, so good for everybody involved and good for him to be back with the team. Obviously, good to hear that Petrangelo's daughter is doing well. Obviously, they have a long road ahead of them. Again, we said it with the Toronto, with Victor's grandfather passing away. Our thoughts are obviously with the Petrangelo family, the Vegas Golden Knights, his daughter. Um, you know, all of us hockey fans, whether you're our rival or not, we never want to see anything bad happen to anyone or anyone's significant others. So obviously, our thoughts are with Evelyn, the Petrangelo family. Hopefully, a quick recovery and she can get back up on her feet. As a father of three, I can only imagine the anguish that Alex is going through, not being able to see his daughter do things that she was doing a couple weeks ago, playing, running, doing all that stuff. So obviously, our thoughts are with Alex, the Petrangelo family, and obviously the Vegas Golden Knights. And our fifth and final topic for tonight, the NHL has made a announcement earlier today that due to a major storm expected to hit the Northeast, they have decided to postpone the Tampa Bay Lightning Buffalo Sabres game for Friday night, 12/23. The game will be played on March 4th. The game has been moved due to the potential effect of the days off mandate for Christmas that the NHL has. It was released earlier today. Again, I was looking at this. A major weather storm projected to affect much of the eastern United States prompted the NHL to postpone the game. The decision was made in part because it backed into the league's Christmas break, which begins on Saturday. The strength of the storm had a potential of cutting into Tampa Bay players' mandated days off had the team been stranded in Buffalo on Friday night when the brunt end of the storm is expected to hit. Tampa will now travel home after playing Detroit tonight. The Lightning will play this game on the 4th. The Sabres were originally scheduled to play the Flyers that day. The NHL has instead moved the Flyers game to January 9th at Buffalo. It then says much of the eastern two-thirds of the country was bracing for a disastrous mix of sub-zero temperatures, high wind, and blizzard conditions in the holiday weekends. Some parts of the U.S. could see wind chills approaching 70 degrees below zero. By Friday, the Arctic front was expected to spread sharp cold as far south as, to me, in the great state of Florida. So, crazy weather stuff coming up. So, NHL put the horse in front of the cart or the cart in front of the horse or whichever way you want to say it. They got everything situated early. They announced this one was off, moved some stuff around for the makeup. So that's the update on the games there. Any other potential games also being canceled due to the storm, check out my Twitter at They Call Me Burn. I'll have more information as soon as the National Hockey League addresses those situations. So keep an eye on the Twitter there for any more games that may get moved due to the weather that's going to hit the Northeast. All right, our Grip It and Rip It player of the week this week is Tage Thompson of the Buffalo Sabres. Played in 3 games this week. 12-15 against the Colorado Avalanche. He had a goal and an assist. 12-17 against the Coyotes. He lit the lamp with a goal and had 2 assists. And on 12-19, he scored a goal against the Vegas Golden Knights. I had a couple of goalies here, but both of them lost games early in the week, and they lost them ugly. So I went with the goal scoring threat of Tage Thompson. Currently sitting second in the National Hockey League in goals scored. Only person ahead of him is Connor McDavid. All right, so new thing that I'm going to do. I'm going to try to do this weekly, depending on how crazy my schedule is. With it being the end of the year, I think I'm going to be into a little bit more of a calming sensation here. So get through these next couple of days in the Christmas holiday. We'll see where that lands. Top 5, bottom 5. Currently for myself in the National Hockey League. We'll start at the bottom 5. In 32nd, I have the Anaheim Ducks. They just can't get any momentum going. They just haven't looked good the last couple weeks. I have them at 32. At 31, I have the San Jose Sharks. They currently have 26 points scored. 30th, I have the Arizona Coyotes, who are currently playing the Vegas Golden Knights, tied at 1 at the start of the third. They have 25 points on the year. Surprisingly, the Chicago Blackhawks, I have them at 29. I say surprisingly, they only have 18 points on the season so far, but the last couple of weeks, they've actually started to show some fight, and obviously, there wasn't a ton of fight when the Washington Capitals played them, when Alexander Ovechkin scored 98, 99, and 800, which he currently still sits at. Obviously, we'll talk about Ovi in coming episodes as he eventually breaks into second place, passing Gordie Howe eventually. So yeah, I just think that the Blackhawks have been playing a lot tougher and playing a lot better. So I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt here. But this is a team that if they don't get it together, their season's going to be over sooner rather than later. And in 28th, I have the Philadelphia Flyers. Obviously, we talked about Cam Atkinson being done. They're down a bunch of guys right now. They're about more damaged than the Washington Capitals were when it comes to injuries. So obviously, this team has not been healthy. So they're a team that's playing a bunch of AHL guys currently, and it's not a position that you want to be in, especially when 4 out of the top 5 teams that I have right now are currently Eastern Conference teams. And with you being in the Eastern Conference, you're probably getting blasted by a bunch of these teams. So unfortunately, with the injuries, I just couldn't put Philadelphia outside of the bottom 5. And now the top 5 in 5th place, 46 points on the season. Give me the Carolina Hurricanes. Haven't looked their sharpest recently, but this is still a team that's going to be dangerous throughout the rest of the season. So a bad week here, a bad week there. Yeah, the Carolina team is going to be dangerous. In 4th, give me the team I'm currently watching right now, the Vegas Golden Knights. I think that this Vegas team is better than the team that went to the Stanley Cup Finals against the Washington Capitals. Um, and that Vegas team was good. And honestly, I feel like if they ran into any other team not named the Washington Capitals in that Stanley Cup Finals, Vegas probably wins Lord Stanley. They ran into a buzzsaw, though, that season with Braden Holtby standing on his head and Alexander Ovechkin basically knowing, oh, I've made it to the Stanley Cup Finals for the first time. I'm not leaving without this thing. So, yeah, all for Vegas to keep it up. They're the only team I have in the Western Conference in the top 5. I have them at 4. At 3, I have a team north of the border. Give me the Toronto Maple Leafs. They're going to be competitive throughout the rest of this season. I know it. Their goaltending has been really good. So give me them at the 3. They have 46 points. Also at 46 points, the surprising New Jersey Devils. They hit a little hiccup where things weren't going their way. It seems like they've smoothed out that ship. We'll see if they have the longevity to stay in this thing throughout the rest of the regular season. They're a team that I think could go either way, depending on the injury and depending on how well their goaltending plays. And last but certainly not least, the number one team in the National Hockey League right now, to no surprise, 52 points. The current best team point wise in the National Hockey League is the Boston Bruins. When you played as many games as they have and were like lost one home game, oh, I'm sorry, 17-0-2. Their two losses at home are both in overtime. So they've gotten points in their losses at home. They're 8-4 on the road, winners of two straight, a plus 54 goal differential. Yeah. Sign me up for Boston leading the way through this week's power rankings. All right, so that's the show for this week. But though before we go, I do want to talk to you guys a smidge bit. With it being the Christmas season and being the end of 2022, I'll have one more episode, which will obviously lead into our discussion about the Winter Classic, because that'll happen shortly before the end of next episode, around New Year's. So we'll talk about that more. But before we go, obviously I want to thank all of you guys for hanging out and listening to the show. If you have a friend who is a hockey fan that would like to listen to someone talk about hockey, please share this episode with them. Please share any of the episodes of the Five for Fighting podcast, as well as if you have any sports fans that may like to hear guys talk about the National Football League or NCAA football. Please share any of the Huddle Up podcast stuff as well. Basketball fans and one with Ernest. The second episode dropped earlier this morning. I'll be giving that a listen tomorrow while I'm driving the truck. So if you have any sports fans in your neck of the woods, lead them over to the Huddle Up Incorporated. Hopefully, t-shirt coming soon for my idea. So yeah, but I can't say thank you enough, and I think I'm going to end it with my thank yous. Obviously, thank you to Alexander Ovechkin for getting to goal 800 before Christmas. Super happy about that. Thank you to I've made an appearance on the live show once. I've also been a member of the audience for pretty much every show for the last 6-7 months since they've been doing this live show again. So thank you to student of the game Kyle Nash, to Matt, to Ernest for their fun wittiness on the live shows. But I can't leave this show without saying thank you enough to El Capitan, the CEO and founder of Huddle Up Incorporated, Big Jim. He gave me an opportunity to have a fun little hockey show because he himself is a hockey fan, also a Washington Capitals fan like yours truly. He gave me the keys to the Ferrari and told me just don't wreck it. And I think I've done a pretty good job of not wrecking it. So couldn't do it without him. Couldn't do it without those guys on the Tuesday Day show, getting more ears onto the hockey content here. So, I can't do it without those guys. I couldn't do it without producer, coordinator, HMFC, whatever you want to call him, Big Jim, for doing all the stuff that he's done. Tip of the cap to him for all the hard work. He's the one that I send this raw audio to. He puts the intro music on, the outro music on. I can't do it without him. So obvious kudos to Jim and what he's been able to do for not only myself but for all of us, Huddle Up Incorporated. So tip of the cap to him. Obviously, like I said, if you're not already, please follow any of us on the major social media platforms: Facebook, TikTok, Twitter, at Huddle Up Pod. If you find the link tree, you can find the link, like I said, to all of our merchandise, as well as links to the guys' Twitter accounts, as well as the Facebook account, the YouTube, and the TikTok for the show. But that's all I got for this week, guys. I appreciate you guys hanging out with me again for Five for Fighting. I hope all of you have a very, very Merry Christmas. I hope you have a Happy Hanukkah, whatever the holidays you believe in and you and your family observe. Enjoy all of those. Enjoy family time. We'll be back next week for the final Five for Fighting of 2022, as we look up to what's going to happen with the show in 2023. as well as talking about the Winter Classic. So until then, I'm Mikey B. I'm going to go serve my 5 in the box for fighting, and I will see you guys on next week's episode. Until then, stay safe and have a great rest of your week.